Hello there, YouTube. Happy, what day is it? Tuesday? I think it's Tuesday. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Just wanted to talk a little bit today about something that happened to me today, and it's involving today's Transgender Day of Visibility, I believe it is. It's like these colors right here. Boom. Look at that. T-Swizzle. Love album. Beautiful album cover. Anyways, I just noticed that out of the corner of my eye. It's like the same exact colors as, the transgender movement. Beautiful color combo. It's a shame they've co-opted it. Anyways, so one of my friends of over 15 years that I met in college, core group of friends from college, made a post today about, Transgender Day of Awareness. And it's a very long-winded post, yada yada. I'll actually go through it here. He's one of these people who does these extremely long-winded, many paragraphs Facebook posts, right? Personally, I find it cringe. But do what you're gonna do, whatever. I just skip over them like 99.99999% of the time because I'm gonna be honest, I don't care that much. And if I do care that much, most of the time I don't have the mental capacity to care at that point in time. I'm a firm believer in being succinct. You can't tell from my videos, obviously, but in written format specifically, I'm a very firm believer in getting your point across in as few words as possible. Be succinct, clear, and to the point. Convey your message in as few words as possible, because otherwise you might suffer from what they call analysis paralysis. What book was that from? Who said that? I don't remember. It was very thin, like about 100-page book in one of my history classes. But you don't want to suffer from analysis paralysis. You don't want your message to get lost in all this other shit, right? You don't want to end up providing 99% context to 1%, what the point is. And then, people don't, at the end of it, they don't know what the fuck your point was, right? So brevity. And proving my own point, what I just said, like verbally, I don't stand, how do you say it? I don't do that verbally, but written, I do, 100%. Anyways, let's go ahead and take a look at the posts here. Here's the first one. Let me alt tab so I can see what I'm looking at here. Which one's first? Is that number one? Yeah, that's number one. Okay. So this is top of the post. No, that's not number one. That's number two, actually. My apologies. Number one is this. See, very long-winded paragraphs, yada yada. So let's go through it. He said, in a world where rights are being stripped, people are being dehumanized and classified as mentally ill, confused, monsters, and a whole slew of other terrible things. Visibility is step one. In a country where the government ignorantly and deliberately refers to the trans agenda, mindfully and without cause, cast blame on trans individuals to create an arbitrary culture war, to distract for the crimes of those in office, from the crimes, I think it means from the crimes of those in office, attempts to impose sanctions on medical facilities for providing gender-affirming care, and classifies mere existence as sexual in nature or inappropriate conduct in an attempt to criminalize trans presence in public spaces. Allyship and action are what we need. While it's vaguely encouraging to see the waning popularity of the rhetoric of certain individuals, meanwhile, President Trump is sitting there as president, by the way, and his vice president is insanely popular. So is Marco Rubio. Pete Hegseth, not as much, but significantly so. So, there's a lot of cope going on in here, but let me just read through the rest. While it's vaguely encouraging to see the waning popularity of the rhetoric of certain individuals, unfortunately, both sides of the aisle have decided that trans rights are a bargaining chip, demonstrating their belief that some lives are less equal than others after asserting just a few years ago that all lives matter, and when the only crime committed is being born. I think he's missing is there. We could be finding ways to feed the hungry. And just another thing here, when you write all this stuff and you don't proofread it becomes even more increasingly, that's redundant, even more increasingly. It becomes even more difficult to understand what you're saying if you have typos like this in there. So you keep it short and concise, easier to proofread, make sure it's accurate. We could be finding ways to feed the hungry, house the unhoused, improve local infrastructure, provide adequate and affordable medical care, make life more affordable, remove corporate money from politics, and the list goes on and on. Well, thank you for not listing all of them, at least. Only like 6 of them. But that's not divisive enough. The road ahead is long and winding, just like this post. Advocate for the community. Support in any way that you can. Remind the trans individuals in your life that their lives are important, and tell them that you'll be there to fight alongside them for what is right, because I know right now some of us don't feel that way. And he says some of us because recently, somewhat recently, I don't know when it was exactly, I think within the last year, this individual came out as, I believe, non-binary. So now he's identifying with this whole movement and all this shit. Whatever. I mean, you're an adult. Do you? Whatever. Then he goes on to say, go to number 2 here. That's number 2. Okay. Number 2, he says, on a founding document of our nation, it reads that all men are created equal. So it's about time we start acting like it and focus on the things that are actually wrong with this nation. Let's go beyond visibility. Let's celebrate the existence of trans folk and work together to build a better future. And he posts this little image, Transgender Day of Visibility. You are seen, you are loved, you are welcome. Beautiful message. Great. Wonderful. Excuse me. A little stuffy. Now, I have no problem if an adult does whatever they want to do within the law to themselves, or, whatever. If it's legal, you're an adult, do it. Whatever. Now, my issue, as you'll see from my comment here, is when these people go after children. So let's take a look at image number 3. This is what I said in response. If they stop trying to transition children, then they will find much more support and success. That's it. That's all I said. That's literally it. And my friend of 15 plus years decided that saying that if the transgender movement stopped trying to transition literal children, then they would find much more support and success. He found that so abhorrent that he instantaneously blocked me on, I mean, you can tell what this is. This is Facebook, right? So he blocked me. 15 plus years. Friend I met in college, first year of college. Actually, I think like day 1 we were on the same floor, a couple doors down from each other. So yeah. Now what does this say to me? This reinforces a couple things that I already know. One, I'll keep that up there. Number 1, it reinforces the fact that these Democrats, well, these modern day Democrats, they're Democrats, right? They're not really Democrats. They're extremist liberals. They're not actually Democrats. They're extremist, crazy people. They are so emotional. They don't operate off logic or reason. They don't believe in free speech. And they don't believe in, despite me meeting this individual in college, let me just call him. He's a guy. Despite me meeting this guy in college, a place where you're encouraged to learn and converse and discuss ideas, etc., etc., him and the people in this movement, right? They don't believe in listening to, hearing, or entertaining any idea or any opinion whatsoever that goes against what they believe. Zero at all. And they would rather plug their ears, go la 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 la, and pretend that it doesn't exist and live in their little echo chamber. Well, I have news for you. No matter how much you do that, it's not going to make people like me, who are the overwhelming majority, especially when it comes to children in this case, it's not going to make us not exist. It's not going to make our opinions not exist. It's not going to make I don't know. I was going to throw a third on there. I got nothing. So it's not going to make it go away. All you're doing, you believe you're insulating yourself from things you find disagreeable or whatever. All you're doing is turning a blind eye to it. And by not addressing the reality of the situation, you are in turn dooming yourself to failure. That's pretty much it. So, you can block me. That's fine. I still consider you a friend, even though, really, moved away after college, all this stuff. I think I tried to reach out a couple times. We didn't really hang out or anything, different parts of the country, all that, whatever. I still consider you a friend. We had some good times in college, all that stuff. I got no problems with you. Like I said, you're an adult. You want to be non-binary. You want to go chop your dick off, get some fucking breast implants, pretend you're a woman, whatever. I'll still look at you like, the person I've always known and be glad to know you. But when you go near kids with this trans shit and you try to convince a literal child, you try to convince a little boy that he should be a girl, or a little girl that he should be a boy, or you get doctors, or you as a parent, or you get anyone in a position of power or authority over children to do the same, try to convince them of this, try to push them into medical treatment that messes with their hormones to stop puberty and things like this, then we have a big fucking problem, man. And I'm going to be so real. This is something I think we should, like, if this children trans movement ever picks up steam, I think this is something that would be worthy of going to war over. I'm going to be so real, because that is so beyond fucked up that I think that would be worth maybe a little mini civil war over. Going to be real, man. You do not fuck with kids. Mentally, physically, emotionally. No. What you do is you raise your children to be strong, confident, etc., right? You don't convince little Timmy he should be little Tiffany. You don't convince little Tiffany she should be little Timothy. If Timmy wants to play with a Barbie doll, that's fine. Let him play with a Barbie doll. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But if Timmy says, you know what, I'll even go further. If Timmy wants to wear a dress to school, if you want to let him wear a dress to school, I'd even be okay with that. But if Timmy starts to think that he should be a female, a girl, that's a problem. And you need to stamp that shit out. You need to say, listen here, Timmy. It's okay to like flowers. It's okay to like, pink. It's okay to like female fashion. I mean, they have so much more variety than men. Who could blame them, right? Like, I'm jealous of women's fashion. Jealous of it. I got this black t-shirt on again. Like, come on, man. But anyways, Timmy, you are not a girl. You're allowed to have shared interests with girls, but you are not a girl. You are a boy. You got a fucking penis, Timmy. You have testicles. You have sperm. You have a different set of chromosomes. And Timmy, he doesn't even understand all the biological stuff about it. He has no clue, because he's a little Timmy. He's a child. A literal fucking child. So if you're not stamping that out, then you are committing child abuse. If you're encouraging little Timmy to become Tiffany, or vice versa, that is child abuse. And you need to have CPS come take your child away, and you need to go to jail. Bottom line. Now, if anyone out there has a good, convincing argument against that, feel free to change my mind. Change my mind. But when you simply block someone out, you don't engage in conversation at all with them, you don't discuss it with them, no debate whatsoever, guess what? You're never going to change my mind by doing that, dude. I'm out here willing and open to talk about anything with anybody. I have firm beliefs, yeah. I have convictions based on my morality. Yes. So it's going to be difficult to. I'll assure you that. But if you bring something up that I hadn't considered, then I will consider it. If you reveal something inaccurate in what I'm saying, and you get me to agree on that, then perhaps I'll change my opinion. But when you don't even try, when you just block out conversation, you've already lost. And you are losing. This is a 90+% issue that I'm on the right side of. I'm on the 90% side of. You, Mr. Block People, stay in your little echo chamber. You're on the minority. The extreme minority, by the way. I'm on the side that protects children. I'm on the side of women's rights because I don't want men who have an innate or inherent biologic advantage over women, over girls and women, to go in and make it so they can never win any sports competitions ever. Because, you know, Ray here, what's a female version of Ray? I don't know. Ray here, who now identifies as, we'll just say Tiffany again, as Tiffany, decided he wanted to be a girl today. And he's going to go win those trophies. I'm not down for that. And I'll tell you, I ran cross country in high school, middle school and high school, a little bit in high school. Every time I would, after the race, I would also go over and I would see, hey, did I beat every single girl in the race? Because I mean, I was quite fast, but I wasn't winning every race. I was like, you know, top percentage, but I was like, did I at least beat every girl? And yeah, every single time I did, literally every single time. And I've had a litany of injuries and, you know, bone deformities and stuff, and I'm still out here beating every single female every single time. Some of those females, some of those girls went on to be Olympic level distance runners, by the way. That's all I'm saying. So if you want men to just completely dominate women's sports, make it so women can never prosper in the sports specifically designed for them to be successful, because we all recognize that there is an extremely select few things in the world physically based that they can compete with men on, not in any part or not any fault of their own, but due simply to biology. Then, you know, we're gonna have a problem. So stop trying to put men into women's sports. Stop trying to put women into men's sports, although we really aren't seeing that because they would never be able to compete, so they don't even try, or they try and they crash out or burn out so early that nobody ever hears about it or picks up on it, right? And leave children alone. It's actually that simple. And you're really never going to convince anyone otherwise. I will say Chris Elston, or I believe his name is, let's see. Let me get this right. Go and grab this. Where's my Firefox video? Oh, that's the background noise. Where's Twitter? Go to Twitter. Give me a new tab here. I believe it is Chris Elston, I think. Excuse me. No, I forget his name, but there is a bald guy named like Chris Elton or something like that. He does a lot of work to change people's mind about, you know, trans kids specifically, and he's talked to a number of trans people who were convinced by parents, medical professionals, etc., as children to transition. And as adults, they have regret about it, and they've even some of them have detransitioned. And he gets their testimonials, etc. And the stories are just horrific. You have women who got double mastectomies as either minors or very young adults, and now less than 10 years later, it scars them. They're already scarred physically for life, right? But it scarred them emotionally for their entire lives, and they've detransitioned back to a woman, but they always have those physical and mental scars, etc. It's fucking horrific. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about that a little bit. I think this kind of stuff is just absolutely horrific. I think it's just so telling that a comment like a comment as tame as this. If they stop trying to transition children, then they will find much more support and success. A comment that is even saying, hey, this is implicitly saying, hey, I'm fine with transgender people, but please leave children alone. And in doing so, your movement that you support, that you identify as a part of, will be more successful. And you'll find more support if you do this. So I'm encouraging you to go be more successful, more support, get more support for it. A comment like this is enough for one of these people to throw away a 15+ year friendship without a single word, even without batting an eye, because they are just so off the deep end. So yeah, that's really about it. Like, what do you even say? You know, it's absolute insanity. These people, they need help, man. Like, and just that his reaction to this tame comment, like, really enforces the make asylums great again mindset too. Like, these people need to be taken, put into an asylum. They need to get the treatment they need, because their mental disorders, they're affecting them in terribly negative ways. Yeah. Anyways, that's it. Thanks for watching, listening to me rant. Until next time, peace.